All you got to do is just say my name. Say my name. Don't be scared, Sarah. Say my name.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie. Everybody needs
with a whoop whoop and a boop boop
auntie
boop.
Everybody needs.
You can make this up. Now you know that these are some crazy motherfuckers.
Everybody needs a sweet old auntie.
So why even bother?
Aunties and lives, sweet old auntie. Aunties and ways. Are you okay? Are you okay?
You know, there are times in life when certain people need to practice the art of shutting the up. And this is one of those times. Hi, everybody. This is Auntie. And we're going to have a discussion about Sarah from Love After Lockup. Oh, yes, we are. We're not going through the formalities of introducing the channel and all of that and telling you to like, comment, and subscribe and all that. We're just going to get into it as we get into it. Because she had a few things that she wanted to say, and I got a few things that I want to say. Now, in making this video, I want you all to know that I don't dislike Sarah. I had an opportunity to have a conversation with Sarah, and I understand where Sarah is. But what Sarah has to understand is that Auntie is going to be Auntie. And I am not going to sugarcoat anything to make her feel better about herself. But when I looked at an interview that she did with Lord Lunkin, and I'm hoping that you all have subscribed to him, I was like, just say my name. Now, I know that all of the things that she said in this particular interview wasn't about me and wasn't something I said. But a whole lot of what she came back with was absolutely a result of what I said. And one thing about Auntie's advice and her members and subscribers and reviewers, we say what we say over here. And then after we say it, we stand 10 toes down to the ground. I'm going to play a couple of little excerpts from this interview that she did with Lord Lunkin. And I am going to respond. See, Sarah, you and Shawn have made it very, very clear that because I rag and drag your asses from time to time, that you won't come over here and give me the benefit or yourselves of clearing the record. And that's fair. I wouldn't come to my black ass either. But what we not going to do is throw shots and think you're not going to get a response from Auntie's advice. Because I heard you. But I want to make sure that you heard me and that you hear me clearly. So this isn't going to be a drag like it was when I had to drag Shawn. This is going to be a woman-to-woman conversation between Sarah and I. Because there's some things that you are asking, you are requiring from content creators and from people, fans of the show, that you won't in turn give to us. See, Sarah has this mentality that there is a lot that you don't see? Oh, there is a lot that we don't see. But if you believe that we are making our assumptions, our judgments based on what we do see, but you realize that there are a lot of things that we don't see, then you have to make an allowance for us like you want us to make an allowance for you. Sarah went in this conversation and said, at the end of the day, this is my child. She sure is. She absolutely is your child. She's not our child. She's your child. She believes that there have been some people who have benefited from seeing her daughter on national television, a syndicated show. She believes that there are people who can relate to her plight. And I believe the same thing, Sarah. I believe that somewhere over the rainbow, that there are a lot of people who can relate to not having a father in the home or being told that their father, who was a complete stranger on the playground, is their father. I'm going to play a little bit of it and then I'm going to go in and we're going to have a conversation about what Sarah said, because I think that she is owed a response from Auntie's advice. So, Sarah, I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to give you what you want. I'm not going to holler. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to cuss you out. I'm just going to make it real simple and plain. Real simple and plain. So I'm going to play it off of my phone because I don't want to bring up his video. I didn't ask his permission in advance, and usually I ask permission in advance. So I'm hoping that you all can be able to hear it. Let me plug up in case my battery gets low. I'm hoping everybody had a great day. Hi, everybody.
It's something that people have been asking. We saw, of course, the breaking of the news to Abby during the course of the episode. You said yes, and I hear a very definitive thing. What's your thoughts on that? It seems like because of your very affirmative answer, it sounds like you have one ready to go.
Well, I mean, no matter what you do on TV, you get scrutinized for it. So this whole season, I've had people bash me repeatedly over not telling her that he's her father because I'm teaching her it's okay to play with a stranger. And I mean, I've heard all this different stuff.
Yeah.
Sarah, let's just stop at that one point. You said that people were telling you or bashing you about not telling her. That wasn't me. I think that she probably needed to know. But I also think that there was a way of telling her and a way of not telling her. Yes, you're going to be scrutinized when you come on the show. So to criticize the fans for scrutinizing you when you know that we were going to scrutinize you is just like dumb. But if you did this with the right intentions, as you say you did, for the benefit of others to learn, then you just go ahead on the road with it, boo. Because you know your heart was right. Now, when we first saw you, Sarah, you were having problems with your husband, Shawn. We're going to just go ahead on and just break this down. You were having problems with your husband, Shawn. You alluded to the fact, or you made it appear, Sarah, that you were stepping out or wanting to step out on your husband, that you weren't going to be around, that was with the get down, get down. And so we saw you reach out to your baby's daddy. We saw you reach out to your baby's daddy as a result of what was happening in your marriage, not to connect him to his baby. That's what we saw. Now, whether or not that was editing and it was a lot going on, it certainly wasn't a lot going on in your bedroom. But if there was a lot going on, you didn't introduce this like that. So I don't know if you're going to back up, Sarah, and say that this was editing or not. You do what you do. But Sarah, this was introduced a whole different way. And as the fans of the show, as those who support the show, Sarah and Shawn, we saw what we saw. We heard what we heard, and nobody is putting words in your mouth. And if they gave you a script and they told you that they wanted it scripted this way, then you need to say that when you interview. Your daughter, according to what we saw on this season of Love After Lockup or Life After Lockup, was playing with a complete stranger, and that came out of your mouth. This was mommy's special friend. That's who this was, Sarah. It was mommy's special friend. So for the viewer's perspective, from our perspective, you were having your daughter play with a stranger. And he was a man that she was unfamiliar with. Moreover, Sarah, we also saw you tell her to tell a lie. You also influenced him to tell a lie and not disclose. So don't be mad at us because we are calling a thing when this thing is the thing that you're introducing to us. It's not our job, although sometimes we do step into that role, to dissect what you meant. It's not our job. It's your job to make sure that if this is something that you want to use as a mechanism to encourage other people to come out about baby daddies and baby mamas and all of that kind of stuff, it's your job to make sure that your story is told the way that you want your story to be told.
And then when I finally do tell her and let her know, I get scrutinized for that.
Problem. You didn't tell her. You let that man, the man that you said had an 8-year opportunity to be in her life, and he only saw her twice. You let a man who had just got out of rehab tell your daughter on a syndicated national television show. You didn't tell your daughter. You didn't prepare that little girl. We watched that girl transition from one emotion to another. One emotion to another, we watched that little girl. And our hearts bled for her. Now, Shawn, you made a comment. You came from the background. And you made a comment that someone said she's going to see this for years and years. I said that. I have the boldness to say that. I sure the hell did. I said that this will always be there. I said you don't know how this is going to affect her years from now, that her mother decided to make an example out of her by disclosing something that I believe should have been disclosed in private. She did it on a show, and she wanted to make an example out of her daughter to benefit other mothers. But she doesn't realize that she also made an example to those people like myself who think that she was trash for doing it. Because there are people like me who didn't benefit from seeing what you did. I didn't benefit at all from watching that little girl at that young age, young, tender age, try to process what she had just heard. I didn't see it. And there are thousands of us, Sarah, who didn't see it. And no one criticized you from this camp. Well, no, I'm going to talk for myself. I didn't criticize you for not telling the little girl. It's your prerogative to tell her whatever you want to tell her. It's everything that led up to it, Sarah. I don't know why you're not getting that. I don't have an understanding. And I know you and Shawn are here. And I have a moderator here. And if you need me to drop the link, let her know. She'll text me. Because you have a right to have a conversation with me if you wasn't scared, if you wasn't mad, if you wasn't offended. But at the end of the day, you and Shawn know I'm only going to call it as it is, or as I see it from my opinion and my perspective. Sarah, if you go back and you detach yourself from this, and I know that that's difficult, you will see the transitions that your daughter went through to process this information. And as a mother, that's how I processed it. I would not have wanted something so private, so intimate, something that is life-changing to be done to my child in a public forum. Fuck trying to make an example. Fuck trying to connect to other people. I don't care if you connect or you disconnect from my story. As a mother, my heart and my place is to protect my child mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and in every other area of her life. And you have placed your daughter in scrutiny. Don't you know that little kids can be cruel? When she gets older, let's say she's in middle school, and someone comes out and say, you ain't got no daddy, your daddy on drugs, you found out about your daddy on TV. How do you protect her? How do you build her up from that? Houseway? How? Because you can't be with her always. And that's why some things that you do, you have to do with discretion. Now, there may be some kids from the school who say, you know what, your story years ago really did bless me. But trust and believe me, kids can be cruel. So, Shawn, yes, you were correct. This is going to be out there forever. Sarah says she's a tough little kid. That's because she doesn't know. And she hasn't felt the effects of what you did. She hasn't felt that yet, Sarah. She hasn't felt that yet, Shawn. You don't know what she can handle and what she cannot. But what you didn't do is make sure she didn't have to walk through that. You did not use care and concern, in my opinion, to make sure that no one ever knew that she didn't know who her daddy was when she was on a playground with him. She didn't know who this man was. Okay. Let's see what's going on.
Oh, it was too soon. Oh, I shouldn't have put it on TV. Oh, this has been probably my hardest season. Just dealing with backlash from people because people have just been extremely judgmental this time around towards me, which is fine. It is what it is, but it's like, I didn't do it to like expose my daughter or like put her out there or hurt her feelings or nothing like that.
But you did. Your little girl went from laughing to crying. What do you mean? See, Sarah, you can't have it both ways. You can't say that I did not mean to expose her when you exposed her. You can't say that your intent for exposing her was to be an example to someone else and then come back and say, it wasn't my intention to expose her. Both of those can't be true at the same time. It was your intention, according to what you're about to say, to expose her. Mama? And then you had the man who you said hasn't been around the little girl, never took advantage of the 8-year opportunity that he had to be with this little girl, because she goes on in the interview and says this. You let him sip out of her drink. And you didn't say, don't do that. Don't cross that boundary. There's a boundary here. He's a grown man drinking out that little girl's cup. And you ain't even flinch. Sarah, maybe you didn't grow up with boundaries. See, because we don't really know your story as to why you really got on drugs the way you did. Sarah goes on in this interview and says she didn't have a daddy in her life. So maybe that's why you don't understand. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that's why you don't understand that there are boundaries. I was with my biological dad and my mom. I had a mom and a dad in my household. And there were boundaries. My dad ain't never sip out my cup. And I'm going to let a stranger danger sip out my daughter's cup and I ain't going to say nothing. You need to create boundaries because you don't know them. That's too familiar. There's certain things that you couldn't do with uncle, daddy, cousin, none of them. Swap spit and sit on a lap or be in a room by yourself with. I'm just saying. So if you don't have boundaries in place, you need to. Because I was grossed out when he sipped out that little girl's cock. Daddy or no daddy.
It was basically because me and Shawn, just our story in general, we do this because other people can relate to it. And while I've had a shit ton of people say negative things, I've also had a shit ton of people write me and tell me how beautiful the moment was and, you know, how they're going through the same thing. So those are the people that I do it for because I know that
shows intent. shows intent to expose her. Those are the people that I do this for. Shows that you had an intention to expose your daughter. You had an intention to expose your daughter. Don't backpedal and pussy pop off of it now, Sarah. You intentionally exposed your daughter. But you don't want us to say anything or to have any type of criticism about what we saw and what we suspected, and now what you have confirmed. You intentionally set out to do this on national fucking television.
There's a silver lining for somebody.
And so, we could just hope that, everything works out, with her dad, and that we're not looking at this back, and then she doesn't have to keep remembering, like that's the kind of I think the what everybody's thinking about and worried about, that she's going to see it's going to be out there forever and ever.
And that's what I said, Shawn, and that's what I meant. And that's the thing about it. Now you got to hope that this has not affected her. You got to hope, beyond hope, that this does not come back to bite Sarah in her Irish. Beck said, even Shawn gets it. Thank you for that, Beck.
But I think Abby's strong. I think that, that she's been this long, without him, so the fact that she knows now,
Yeah, there's plenty of kids that don't have their fathers in their lives. Like, she's far from the only one. Abby actually likes to film.
What the fuck that got to do with anything? That the little girl likes to film. She could have filmed doing something else. She could have filmed being in that tub in your house. That's where she wanted to be. She wanted a rubby-dubby, 2 men in a tubby. She got Shawn and her father. She got you. She wants to be in a tub splashing around with her mother's special friend that she's at the playground with. Sarah, do you see how that look? Sounds funny coming out of my mouth, doesn't it, Sarah?
We give her the option. I don't just make her film for my own benefit or whatever it is that people think.
Sarah, you cannot talk out of the side of your mouth and say what people think. You just told us what your intention was. That's why sometimes you got to practice the art of shutting the fuck up or writing a script. Write it down. Write it down. Okay, this is what I'm going to say in the interview. Write it in big letters. In big letters. Okay? Write it in big letters. Fuck out of here.
She has the option. And yeah, I know that was a personal moment. And, people can judge me for that. That's fine. It's going to happen regardless. Even if I would have did it off camera, somebody would have still believed that she didn't know. So
no, but if you never introduced the story, we wouldn't have ever questioned it. If you never introduced the story, if you never made this was your storyline. You use your daughter, in my opinion, as a storyline. Nobody ever asked about that little girl father. Not from the beginning, not from season 1 did anybody ever concerned about who this baby father was. All we knew was Shawn, you and Destiny and Kelly and everybody else. Nobody ever inquired. Take accountability for your... Nobody asked. Nobody did research. Nobody did any of that, Sarah. Nobody. Your storyline was your daughter and your baby daddy and Shawn not having do with you on the swing. You snatching headphones off his head. You acting erratic. Nobody ever plays with the kids. Most of the content creators don't even touch the subject. Stop it. Take accountability. You fucked up.
No matter what you do in this show, you're wrong. So I just have to...
That's not true. Some people do a whole lot of right stuff. Some people do a lot of right stuff. It was right for Amber to go around and put post-it notes on all her stuff. The stuff that said me. Amber was like, me. Not fucking me. Sarah, there's been some things that you've done right. Most of the time, I don't even drag you. I drag Shawn. But this was a storyline that you wanted to feed us. You intentionally did this. Take accountability. Don't put this off on the fans of the show. Don't make this about Auntie. Because I can read through your book and I know when you're talking directly to me. And so I'm responding back. I am the one who said something about I compared you to him. I did that. No other content creator did that. I did. I made that comparison. You both were locked up. And so you go on Lord Lunken's show, as you all have a right to, and you talk directly to me to clear it up. When you could come here, click the link, and clear it up here, since I said it. Lord Lunken didn't say it. I said it. Absolutely, I compared you to him. But then you cleared it up and said, I was in jail longer than him, but I had contact with her. My mama made sure I had contact with her. And so when I came home, I wasn't a stranger danger to her, but Anthony was. And then, Sarah, you sit there on the show and you say, even after you have revealed that this is this girl's father, you've allowed this man in this little girl's life, you then reveal, I still don't trust him. And in the comments section, a lot of people are saying that he looked high as Cootie Brown when he came to the bakery.
Bite the bullet with whatever choice I make.
So how do you feel then about how her sort of history is being sort of published online? Do you think that is a good thing or a bad thing? How do you see that?
Well, I just feel like people can relate to it. That's just, there's so many people out there that are going through the same thing that she is. And, you know, I hope stuff like that can uplift people. I don't look at it as like...
You tell your side, like you were in Abby's life.
And you know, you just totally called me. I just wish you would not have done that. You made me lose my train of thought.
Yes, Shawn. Shut up, man.
I'm sorry. Just shush.
That's because it's disingenuous. That's because you lost your train of thought because it was disingenuous, in my opinion. You was lying and you making up excuses. So that's why when Shawn says something, it threw you off because you know that this is bullshit coming out of your mouth, Sarah. But we're going to go ahead on and listen.
But anyway, like, I don't look at it as a bad thing. Like, I'm not a negative person. I don't let the negative stuff bother me. I mean, yeah, it gets to me to an extent because it does bother me the amount of people that are so hateful when it comes to certain things.
Well, nobody hateful. Nobody did anything hateful. See, hateful would have been criticizing a little girl. That's what hateful would have been. Hateful would have been dragging the little girl. Hateful isn't making an assessment, an opinion about what you see someone do. That's not hateful. Giving your opinion about something isn't hateful. Now, if I came out here and dragged you, the little girl, and all, then I would have been a hateful auntie. I gave an opinion about what you put out there in the street. Doesn't make me negative. Because one of the things that I pride myself on is that even though I do my commentary and I rag and I drag these people, oftentimes I give advice. There are little nuggets in every review. But instead, you defending yourself. Let me hurry up.
And at the end of the day, she's my child. And
ain't nobody said she wasn't. So at the end of the day, if she's your child, then shut the whole hell up. You ain't got to defend nothing because at the end of the day, she's your child. You ain't got to come out and defend nothing. Not a damn thing. Since she's your child. But you know that when these little kids come on here, that we get invested in them. And we want to see the best for them. And that's why one of the reasons why I will not look at Marcelino and Brittany, because they have involved their kids too much in the show for me. Plus, they boring as fuck. But when you got, like Taylor's kids, I talk about Taylor's kids. I sure do. And I'm talking about Taylor's kids for Taylor. They are jumping on the furniture. When you involve your kids, you open up a door. Now, I don't like to drag the kids. Oh, bitch, but I will.
And it's my choice. And there's so much off camera that you guys don't get to see. And I just really wish that people would keep that in mind. There's so much you guys don't get to see.
Well, what you need to do is make sure that you give us the benefit of the doubt that we don't know it. We only going off of what we see. That's an out for us. Thank you for that out. Because you're absolutely correct. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And half that you showed this season should have went on behind the scenes. If you and Shawn got a boring life and y'all happily married, because I believe y'all happily married because there was someone else who used to hang with you all that you know I used to talk to, and y'all had a happy marriage. So guess what? You had to drum up something, in my opinion. You had to drum up some drama in order to stay relevant and stay on the show. And this, in my opinion, has backfired in your face. Because you didn't think you were going to get the public ridicule that you did.
So, like, when you're watching it, think in the back of your mind, there may be more to the story.
Think in the back of your mind that we don't know that there's more to the story and don't give a fuck. We only care about what we see. It ain't our job to be the Inspector Gadget. Then if we did that and we start drumming up all of your stuff, then you would be mad. Why are they in my business like this? Why don't they just take the show? They see the show. We're actors. So either way it goes, either way it goes, Sarah, you're going to have a criticism for us. We can't win as the fans of the show. And I can't win as a content creator because I'm going to come out here and make it plain. And the thing about it is, y'all, for real, I liked Sarah. There were things about her that I didn't like, but for the most part, I liked Sarah. I have a problem with Sarah. I thought Shawn was the asshole. But Shawn kind of came on. I mean, he kind of came on kind of clean this season. But we got to address it. We got to talk about it. Because I just want her to see that ain't no hard feelings. There's no animosity. I just want you to step up and take responsibility for what it is that we did see. And then when you come back and you validate it and you say, it was my intention to help other people, but it backfired. The scrutiny and everything that we got from the public wasn't what I planned on. She did admit that this was her hardest season. She did admit that. But then she put a spin on it and said that people was hateful and negative.
You know what I mean? That's what I wish for people.
It's a fair point. There was one particular comment made by Auntie that did wind me up a little bit, and I'm gonna bring it up.
I already know what it is.
You know what it is? Yeah, I went on a bit of a thing, and it was where she has some sort of acceptance for him. And thank you for watching that. I really appreciate that. Did you leave a little like, or are you one of the down thumbs?
No, I like it.
Did you like that? Okay, well that's good. That's good. So how did you feel about what I felt about that?
He's just, I mean, I don't even.
No, this is the man that she has introduced to the baby, and she ain't got nothing good to say about him.
No, that was just a weird thing to say on his part. Like, why? I don't know his mind like, he's got I don't know. I don't have a lot of nice things to really say about him, honestly.
Our sentiments exactly. That's what we thought. That's what we thought. She ain't got nothing nice to say about him. And now you can't undo it. And so we're going to be looking to see what happens to her child. That's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be seeing what happens with him. Sarcasm, soap dirt, reality TV, all of the blogs. As soon as something happens, they're going to announce it. They're going to put it out there. They're going to give a story to it. And now, it ain't going to look good. And to all of those people who said it was too soon, their thoughts and their sentiments are going to be validated. Because now everybody going to be watching for the other shoe to drop. Sometimes we have the best intentions. We really do. We have the best intentions, and sometimes it just don't turn out the way we thought it was going to. It just don't. And I think that that's what has happened in this particular incident. I think that Sarah had good intentions. This was her only storyline that she had. Her and Shawn didn't have anything salacious. Shawn wasn't cheating. She wasn't, they put a different spin on the story. They made it seem like they were having marital problems and then whoop up alakazam. Here we go with this story. I am hoping the best for you, Sarah, and for your little girl, and for Shawn, because Shawn seems like he has matured since he's been with you. If you all want the full interview that Sarah did, please go over to Lord Lunkin's channel. I will make sure that I put his video link in the description box so that you all can get an opportunity to hear for yourself. There are quite a bit, there's some other things that she said, but I just wanted to address what I did address. So I'm wishing the best for y'all. I really am. No hard feelings coming from over here. I just wanted to give you my opinion about it. I don't have malicious intent when it comes down to you and your baby. But we're going to call a thing a thing. And while we are going to give you the benefit of the doubt when we can, we're not going to see something and not say something, especially when it comes down to children. That's why some of these people I don't cover, because they're so sensitive. They are so sensitive. They put this stuff out there and then they get sensitive about it. They need PR training. They really do. They need PR training. Anyway, y'all, that's the end of this this review, rant, whatever it is. Okay. Absolutely. Love y'all. I'm going to end with that. Love y'all. Bye.